Okay, so Michelle Williams of Destiny's Child, if you don't know who she was a singer, or still is a singer. She makes gospel music, and she was a member of Destiny's Child with Beyonce and Kelly. Well, she got engaged to a man named Chad Johnson. He is a pastor. He was like a chaplain for something. I forget where, but he was like a big deal in the chaplain circle. And so where he is now, he has like a church up in the mountains, and it's like he's a big deal there too, because he's always has been. So he's a person of prominence in the church. And then of course he is a international celebrity. So they meet, and they had a good time when she went up to the retreat and all of that kind of stuff. And she was telling some stories on the Breakfast Club, which is a radio show, and it was very cute. They're very cute together in the whole bit. Well, they were engaged because he was saving himself for the right one. She's saving herself for the right one. So they were engaged, to see where that could go. They were trying to get married and all that. She has been dealing, though, with some severe depression. And so he's trying to help her through that and all of her little mental woes and things like that. She's got a therapist and all that good stuff, but it takes time. So now they are not getting married. They were engaged, but not anymore. And they had a show on OWN, on the Oprah Winfrey Network, called Chad Loves Michelle. And it was sort of like a 5-part series about their ups and downs and getting to the wedding day, trying to help her work through her depression. And I never saw it, but as of right now, the engagement is off. And she says she just has a lot more work that she needs to do. So I want to know, being a little messy, I want to know, is it just her mental state that's keeping them apart? Because he said, even he had to admit, it's a lot. Like it's a whole lot to deal with the way she is right now. Because she doesn't just have depression to where she's sad. She has depression to where she's sad. She'll lash out. She'll retreat. She has like the whole full spectrum when it comes to a mental disorder. So, is it just mental? There's the King of Swords. That is the man of clarity. The Seven of Cauldrons. There is confusion around that clarity. So there's a cloud around the clarity. So it is definitely mental. Like I am pulling for her. Michelle Williams, I don't care what interview she does, she makes me smile just by looking at her. Like she is very, and that's another thing, like Sarah Haynes from The View. People like that just have this sort of bubbly personality and they make you smile. Meanwhile, in the inside, they're always torn up. There's the Two of Wands. The plan didn't work. That is the base. They want it to materialize, but it never really did. As of right now. There's the Chariot. There's the moving forward. Six of Swords. That's also moving forward. But that's moving to like greener pastures, calmer waters. Then there's the Four of Swords. That is sort of reset, respite, relaxation. So there's a reset that has happened. They're not at odds. So there's none of that. This is more like let's stop. I think maybe we are trying to run a marathon when we should just try to make it around the block. Seven of Shields, that's the Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, that is the fear. The fear is that the harvest, the thing that they're watering, the thing that they're working on will not sprout. There's your idea again, right across. The idea and the thing they've been working on. This is the fear, this is the base, so it makes perfect sense. Your environment, the high priestess, which is perfect for what's going on here. Right across, you got your moving forward, you got your mental clarity clouded by confusion, you got your reset, and you got your secrets, you got your mystery, you got your deep intuition, you got the high priestess covers up. And there is the Hierophant and the desire. Absolutely. Because the Hierophant is the church. It is the organization of tradition. So in this case, it would be the church. And there's the Five of Cauldrons. Five of Cauldrons is a card of disappointment. I always point out the fact that there are 3 cauldrons or 3 cups that have knocked over. This person is crying over that. And then there are 2. You can see those. One of them has pearls around it, so it's perfectly okay. The other one has a rainbow going into it. So you can't see what you have because of what you lost. These 2, I'm going to do some more. But let's do the big picture. So you have your mental clarity clouded by your confusion. Michelle Williams is in a place of, it's a cloud. Depression is just a cloud. I know I hear people say sometimes when, like for instance, Fantasia, who is a singer, she tried to commit suicide as well. Michelle Williams says she was suicidal. She didn't try to commit, but she was suicidal. But Fantasia said that she tried to commit suicide, and people were like, well, you have a daughter. Didn't you think about your daughter? No. And I'll tell you why. Here's what happens when you are suicidal or when you have this kind of depression, like she has, what I said about the cloud. Imagine taking like a black pillowcase or a black bag of some sort. Put all your problems in it. All your depression, all your anxieties, you can't pay your bills, you can't get a job, your health is going down, all the things that are depressing you. Take that bag and then put it over your head. Look around that bag and tell me what good do you see. I didn't say you put your daughter and your family and your good times and your good things in that bag. You only put in the bag what is weighing you down. Put that bag over your head and you look around that bag, all you see is the bad times. So when you are clouded, that's all you can see. You can't see your clarity. You can't see your hope. All you see is the cloud. So that's why right now she just needs to focus on that, because that can take you down. You can get married at some other point. You two aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Which is why there's the reset. Which is why there's the disappointment. Y'all wanted this, yes. But right now is not the time. King of Pentacles. 5 of Shields. That is a card of hardship. 6 of Shields. That's the card of sharing. I think the 2 of you just need to step back and be friends right now. There's the Tower. Because you didn't have it to give, Michelle. You went into this, both of you knew what she was. She was in a spot where she was clouded. So you knew that. You just didn't know how intense it would be, especially now that she has someone she's attached to. Now she can take all that frustration and put it on you. You weren't ready for that, even as a pastor. The Father. This is the Emperor. So you were not ready. And Michelle, you were not ready to bring someone else into that. Because you didn't have it to share. And it all fell down. And the order and authority went with it. The Three of Shields. What you should have done is focused on your stability. There are people around you who can help you. He was just not one of them. He can help you as a helpmeet. He can help you in a way that a husband or a boyfriend can help you, but he cannot help you in the way of a therapist. Yes, he is a pastor and they are pseudo therapists. I get it. But what you needed was not a person who understood, but a person who completely understood where it is and what it is you're going through. Maybe what you need more is a support group than necessarily therapy. You need therapy as well, but more of a support group to where people like you, because you are a public person, this is under your sharing card, are saying, yeah, you know what? I have been exactly where you've been. And here's my story. You compare stories and you say, well, damn, I guess I'm not alone. I guess I'm not crazy. I guess I'm not, completely outside the box, because yes, there's another person sitting right across from me, not somewhere across the world, right across from me, who is saying I was exactly where you were, or I am exactly where you are. There's the Wheel of Fortune. Began to turn, then it turned bad, because again, you were not ready for this. Neither one of you were. Because of the Four of Cauldrons is a card of disappointment. That's moping. There's the Lover's card. Next to it is the World. Definitely weren't ready to be outside in front of everybody. There's your Six of Shields, your Six of Pentacles. There's your sharing. There's your public. There's your world. Page of Shields. Bring about financial news, financial stability. Under the Tower. But the page is sort of like those cards that let you know that there is sort of a inner child or inner workings of something that you have not necessarily watered properly. There's your fear. The page is basically saying that little child held the neglect. She held the neglect. She held the worry. She held the whatever it is that wasn't addressed. She's still holding it, but she's grown up. She's grown up, and now that child is still in there saying, well, what about this? You can say, oh, no, that was in the past. We don't think about that anymore. Well, she's still in there. So at some point, you're going to have to. Trauma doesn't go away just because you get older. Queen of Shields. There's the perfect card to follow it. That little child has grown up. Page to Queen. They have the same color hair. From Page to Queen. But she still holds that neglect. It's trapped you. So, work on you. I wanted to know more along the lines if that's all it was. And yes, it is. Neither one of you were ready for that. That's a lot, though. A person is going through a depression, and you're trying to go get married and move on with life. Your depression still needs attention. It needs to be watered. It needs to be worked out. It's the Page of Cups. Card of emotion. That little girl who was holding all that regret. She needs the attention. Chad will be there. If Chad moves on, that's fine too. If you move on, that's fine too. But this is where you start.